Hey y'all, I'm excited to bring out our first BALM sessions powered by Creative Collective. My name is Joy Wade and I'm a Associate Product Marketing Manager at Google and also a YouTube creator. I'm here today with you on behalf of hundreds of Black and Latinx Google marketers from across the globe. We are a diverse set of creatives, product marketers, program managers, and marketing strategists. Bombers represent the diaspora. We work to build community and careers within Google while continually pushing the organization to take action. With this mission in mind, the Creative Collective NYC was the perfect partner for our annual summit. As a community and creative agency immersed in culture, the Creative Collective partnered with us to curate 3 empowered conversations that would not only pull the curtain back on our team over at Google, but also encourage an ongoing dialogue with the Creative Collective community. Our first session is between Imani, co-founder of the Creative Collective NYC, and Tunde and Sean, co-founders of Atlanta-based record label LVRN. Over to you, Imani.
Hi, my name is Imani, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Creative Collective NYC and CultureCon. We're super excited to be partnering with Google's Black and Latinx marketers to produce these special conversations. Today, I'm here with 2 of the 5 founding members of LVRN, Tunde, president of LVRN, and Sean, head of marketing and brand partnerships at LVRN. LVRN is an Atlanta-based record management and publishing company. They're also the not-so-secret sauce behind some of our favorite artists, including Black and Summer Walker. Welcome, Tunde and Sean. So I'm going to go back before we go forward. 8 years ago, Tunde, Sean, you're both college students in Atlanta. You're both really well known for throwing some of the best parties. I went to a few of them. And you decide to join forces with 3 of your other co-founders, and LVRN is born. No investors, but a lot of great ideas. Tunde, what problem were you looking to solve? Was the plan always to create a formal business?
No. Honestly, I think it was just us doing what we love, to be honest. And I think over time things form because we're smart and we're creative. I believe it was just coming of the minds and people who have similar things in common, kind of just teaming up together and leaving all their egos behind. Ultimately, we were a collective, and then it turned into a management company, and then it was a record label, and now we're everything we are now. So, you know, it's like the perfect love story, to be honest.
Wait, and I love that you say love, because LVRN, of course, is short for Love Renaissance. Sean, can you talk about the importance love has played in the stories you tell and like the company culture that you've created?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the core of every, at the core of every partnership generally isn't love, but I think the unique thing that we found amongst each other is the fact that we actually do love each other. Not even in like a weird, like corny way, but, I think a lot of times people are incredibly curious about, how we're able to seem so close and operate so seamlessly. And it's because I really love being around, my other 4 co-founders. And the reality is like the concept of Love Renaissance in itself really came about during the time in Atlanta, well, just in the culture in general, where the idea of love in itself just seemed corny. It was like everything was incredibly toxic. The trap scene was really, really booming at the moment. And obviously our stomping ground in Atlanta, we literally live on the threshold of being in the club scene, the hipster scene, the high fashion scene. And all in all, I feel like love was just kind of lacking. And the idea of the company's name was really just trying to make love feel cool again, trying to make love feel like something that you shouldn't, fray away from. And at the end of the day, it's what the company's born on, and you can kind of see it through and through in the way that we operate, the way that we treat our staff. Even when you go to our headquarters, like there's a big neon sign that says "You're safe here," because we just want to continue to create a environment that just feels like it's for nothing more than to just incubate good ideas and make people feel protected.
I actually got goosebumps when you just said you're safe here, because I feel like something you just said, there's always people that resonate with, that different school of thought. So I think that's so interesting that it was like Atlanta was booming with like trap music and you all were like, well, wait, let's make love cool again. That's really awesome. I mean, we're clearly in the middle of this pandemic and we've had to pivot. We've had to kind of rethink how we approach things. Tunde, what was the first set of challenges you all had to face as a company, and kind of how did you all pivot and adjust in the midst of everything?
To be honest, us five had to grow up really quickly. I would say us leading a company, we weren't able to honestly we didn't have the time to take in everything as much as everybody else did, in my opinion. We have a roster of artists and we have a lot of staff and employees who look to us to get paid to take care of their families and to figure themselves out. So ultimately, the few things we did was we pivoted and we just made sure we assured the artists that we would make sure they're taken care of. And we actually sent an email out to the staff maybe a day after or a few after the whole country pretty much went into lockdown, saying everybody's salary is pretty much secure. We just made sure everybody was okay. Because honestly, everybody was pretty much unsure of what the rest of the year was going to be. So we wanted to make sure everybody had that comfort. And then we started to do outreach. Fortunately, we've been blessed to be where we're at, to be very successful, but COVID hit people a lot of different ways. And, some of our friends and family who have been doing well for themselves woke up with no job. And 2 months after COVID is there, still no job and people were suffering. So we did a bunch of outreach. Carlin, who's the creative director of the company, came up with a concept called LVRN, work from home. So we took care of creatives that way and did a bunch of other things behind the scenes. But ultimately, we just wanted to make sure everybody was okay, because I feel like when we're going through these times, it's our job as human beings to look after each other. So, yeah.
No, I just wanted to add, I think the idea that this was the moment that we realized that we may have built our house on rocks instead of sand. I think that's the terminology. And it's almost like all of the tedious business decisions that may hurt at the time that you've had to make over the last 5 years, all of the, the sacrifices that you didn't want to make by saving money here and making sure that you invest here, all of those things hit at a time that nobody would have ever expected. And it was the saving grace of the company. Like us being a small Black-owned business, being able to keep everybody on staff paid, and, us being, the execs that we are, and Tunde leading the charge with the management and making sure that each one of the artists, where they are in their career, financially is safe. We've done very smart deals and very future thinking deals that, all of our clients were able to not have to wonder where they're going to get their next meal, even though there's no telling what their next show is going to be, in the way that we, are used to, seeing shows. And then, Tunde didn't touch on it, but we really officially kind of launched our mental health department during this time as well. And it couldn't have been a better time, because being stuck with yourself, or, being stuck with, in a house of people that you may not want to be stuck in a house of, it weighs on you mentally, especially when you're already in the industry that weighs on you mentally. So I think all those different compounding things and us being able to find a way to, take care of our, not only our staff, but our artists and, people around us in that way has always been a blessing. Even us, we have group therapy every week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's not because anything's wrong. It's because we don't want anything to go wrong.
Right. Being proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah. So you have to think
so,
of mental health as maintenance. It's not fixing, it's maintenance. It's like the same way that you go work out, or you want to put the right food in your body. It's maintenance.
I think that's so radical. I mean, I think, that mental health initiative offering unlimited mental health services, to your point, not only to the artists, but to the staff, is super disruptive. Was there a catalyst for that? Because you all were doing that, I think, before it became trendy. Like, what kind of got you rooted in prioritizing your mental health?
It was a few things. And to be honest, it was, let's see, last year in summer I went on tour, it was rough for her. It was her real big first tour, and she had to learn and grow up in front of the whole world. And that's not easy. And ultimately, I think we forget like these artists are young and they literally have to become perfect in front of everybody as soon as possible because, I feel like us as humans, we don't care about people's well-being, honestly, like the whole society. We just care about what we want. You make music, I want my music. I see you as being a celebrity and rich and everything like that when everybody's all human and we all kind of go through the same issues. So with Summer, she was going through her thing, and I believe it's everybody's right to go help or go seek help when they want to, and for us to provide those opportunities. On our end, I was okay. Well, Summer will go seek that on her own time, but overall, she's a very strong woman, and she did finish out a lot of the shows. On the flip side, we were like, damn, I don't know how to even help her cope fully with what she's dealing with. I don't even know what she's dealing with. So Sarita, who leads our mental health department, who is a licensed therapist, actually got her contact at one of Summer shows. And ultimately, I called her one day and I was like, hey, here's what's going on, which means I don't know what's going on. But could you consult us and kind of school us and teach us on things that may be triggers and what we should be doing to alleviate stress and everything? Pretty much, what can we be doing as a team surrounding her and our other clients to make their lives a lot easier? And she was like, oh, wow, nobody's ever asked me that before. I was like, yeah, we just want to try something new out. So she came out and she just hung out and observed, and she gave us crucial tools and information that just made the environment better for her, for us. And we started to implement that for ourselves and our clients. And we saw that, wow, like we do know what artists go through, but they go through a whole lot that us as executives, we're in music, but we're not singing and rapping and giving our whole life perspective to the whole world on wax. And I was, okay, so ultimately that formed and that started to go well. And, it's no secret that the past few years have been well for us. So as we continue to move on with the success, I think we noticed that we think next year is going to be pretty crazy. And we were talking and we decided to do group therapy starting in January. And it was because, my partners are my best friends. But, when you have best friends, there's some stuff that you just don't bring up that may be really like hitting you inside. And then I was like, let's go ahead and run it. And we started to do group therapy and it turned out great. Got everything out. And it's almost to the point like, wow, we got past this. We're unstoppable. Like nothing between us is left unsaid. So it's like past that, what is going to stop us? Nothing. And then when we're able to have fluent conversations with our employees and artists based upon Sarita and our team like pushing us to be transparent, really like address things and not hold stuff in, it's made a relationship between our employees, our artists, and everybody around us great. So, and I think that's what helps out. And we've seen, it's I think it's something as far as us being in our position, having somebody that can kind of keep you in check and call you out sometimes, to be honest. Like, we know it's our company. We know we're the bosses, but you also need somebody to tell you when you're wrong. Like, hey, I may have a problem. I may call her or somebody else and be like, hey, here's what's going on. Am I wrong or am I right? And just always being able to have that perspective, I think has helped us a lot because we're not going in things with a place of ego. We're going into really make sure we're doing the right thing. And ultimately that is what has come from this. I think clarity on a lot. And I think that is one of our last steps. May have a few more for us to like really being one of the greats, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, last steps. You guys are there. I mean, it's super evident that you're just intentional. You're intentional with the storytelling, you're intentional with how you care about your family and your artists. And I want to pivot a little bit and fangirl because I really want to talk about the marketing plans and the marketing rollouts and how they're incredible. So specifically looking at Black's EP, the 6-piece hot, it was just incredible, right? There was augmented hot wing shops where you could buy merch and custom hot sauce, and the Postmates integration in Atlanta supporting Black business, and then in LA sending robots with hot sauce. And I was seeing it all everywhere. And then we did, Summer Walker's latest EP, and you all did the socially distant laser tag. And I think, Sean, it's a huge testament to, again, that intention and radical empathy for your artist and, what they want to do and telling their stories. And I know in a previous conversation, we talked about how you all really like to touch the 5 senses. So Sean, can you take us through those partnerships and kind of what your thought process was when you were executing those?
Man, honestly, like I swear, it's really the most fun we get to have when the music is done and it gets handed over to us, and we know that we have our artists 100% trust in what we do best, and we get to just like fly. I think that it was a really trying time just because I remember, one of our artists, we had all the plans ready to go. We had the treatments for different videos that we wanted to shoot, but boom, COVID hit. And it was almost like we were trying to fit a square peg into a round circle, whatever the term is. And we just kept realizing that we were trying to force something that no longer could be relevant based off of like this new world that we're all getting used to living in. And we had to have a coming to God just like moment and really have a conversation of like, all right, if we're as good as we think that we are, then we have to really unlearn everything that we think that we're good at and learn some new stuff. And that's when we just got a whole new tool belt and figured out how do you do a rollout, an effective rollout, a meaningful rollout, a thoughtful rollout in the middle of a pandemic where the main guidelines are you can't touch anybody, you can't be around anybody. And I think that's when we really just started to really lean into that world of not being able to be around somebody does not mean that you shouldn't be able to touch them and not physically touch them, but, and, to the point of we wanted to attack all 5 senses. The first thing that we did with Black's rollout for 6-piece hot was we sent around 25,000 scratch off tickets to physical scratch off tickets to all of his fans that signed up within like 2 hours. And the scratch off tickets were revealed. They looked like lottery tickets, but they would reveal the track list of the project that was to come out. Black has always been a crazy fan of Wings, so there's no reason why he shouldn't have his own hot sauce. The idea of creating this augmented reality chicken shop and, the content around it was just another way of reminding people of the way that we were able to do things, but still not feeling as if they were missing out. And at the end of the day, the music is good. We partnered with Postmates on, being able to help a Black business, one of our friends that owns a wing spot in Atlanta. And it was just like everything just kind of to fold into itself. And, we had a website called blackbox.com, which was basically the hub of all these different activations that we wanted to do. And it was like, it just kept morphing into just new ways of being able to share information. Like we had like a list of Black authors. We had Amazon help us with some giveaways and givebacks and things of that nature. And I think the testament is once upon a time we had no partners to be able to blow these things up, so we had to do it ourselves. And anytime that you're successful without any help, they come running to help you next time. So I think the more that we tend to build our resume, the easier that it becomes, and the quicker that you're able to really turn around some of these ideas. And then with Summer's project, the title of it, honestly, the whole rollout to Summer's project changed 7 days before it came out because the title changed, and it just turned like, oh, it's life on Earth now. I guess we have to do like some like out of this world stuff. So we had a listening event, and we've always said like listening events are always annoying because it's a bunch of highbrow people that come into a room, drink all the free liquor, and just talk amongst each other as the artist is spilling their heart out, playing their new music, wanting nothing but everybody's attention. So our way of counteracting that was doing a drive-in listening event in which, again, trying to be socially responsible, people come in their cars, um, away from each other, and we had a crashed UFO inside of like this big sand dune, and inside of the UFO was like an FM transmitter, and the FM transmitter played the EP over and over and over, so fans could pull up, turn their radio to a certain frequency, and they were able to hear the project before it came out. And yeah, we created like a whole galaxy. And there was a bunch of ideas that we never even got to pull off yet. We wanted to sell stars, like how you can reserve a star in the sky and they'll send you all the information on the star. But long story short, this is where we have all of our fun, is when we get to make people fall in love with the environment of what the music is about to offer. I think that's the main thing about storytelling. Like designing the narrative is really more about making sure that you create all the makings and all the ingredients of what you need in order for something to actually taste good. The music is the food, but you definitely need to have everything around it so that it can be digested the way that you want it to be. Otherwise, you leave too much room for mistake.
Wow. I mean, I love the way that you kind of bottled that up in terms of, the storytelling, and how even when we look at your artists, it's not even just, to your point, the music. It's like, what does the artist represent? What is their story? Like I felt with Black, like even all those partnerships you just listed off, it's like your brainstorms must be amazing. Are they like hour-long sessions where you all are like, how many ideas can we cram into this rollout?
Well, what we've learned is that once upon a time, we had one artist, and that one artist got all the attention. And every Sunday, we could sit in that room for 12 hours at least and argue whether something should be red or blue. And we don't have that luxury anymore. But what we have now is, trust amongst each other, and we have a more dedicated staff to specific departments that we can always find the time to do whatever we have to do. And it's all ideas can come from anywhere, but it's up to certain teams to be able to go and execute them. Like we have like an internal team called the BALM Squad, which is like our crazy idea team. And if Tunde wants to throw a crazy idea from left field, it goes to the BALM Squad. We flush it out and then we implement it if it works. So it's beautiful to see that even with the more artists that we have and the ramping up of everything that we've had to do, we've still been able to maintain the core value of executing ideas, because there's nothing worse than having a good idea if you can't execute it.
No, 1,000%. The BALM Squad. I love that. They're saying that these times are going to have lasting implications on the consumer psyche. Just everything is changing. Have you all seen any kind of trends or insights, or people kind of leaning more direction or the other, during this pandemic?
Honestly, I don't want to come out here and sound like the smart guy who knows everything. Nobody knows. It changes every week. It's so crazy because I believe we're in a time where like even the experts are coming out and being like, I don't know. And it's to the point that like I see myself, other executives, other managers going out and we're talking to each other more and we're seeking information. And it's like weekly we speak and we're like, well, 2 weeks ago was this. Well, I just had this come out and it actually went this way. And even when I speak to our people at the labels and data, they're transparent and like it really switches up week to week because some places are open, some places are closed. One country may be open for a month, then it may shut down. So people are adjusting every week and every day to different experiences and changes of their life. And that's something that we really pay attention to because we'll be putting something and I'll call Sean and be like, yo, and I'll tell him something, he'll be like, man, that messes up everything we were trying to do. Switch it up. And, we used to be the team that overly tried to be perfect, like really just perfect everything. And we saw that, man, everyone trying to be perfect, we actually don't even try. It barely comes out. And the minute we were like, oh, okay, let's just try it. And we start to do more, and people are always like, man, that was dope. We're like, for real? Like, that's not even what we wanted to do. That's like not even the full effort. And I was like, okay, I think at this point, and it goes back to people being experts all the time and like knowing. And now we're just doing and trying. And then that's how we learn. So honestly, I don't know what trends. I see the trend. The trend I'm seeing is that there's a new trend every week. That's the new trend. That's the trend I'm seeing, to be honest. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, and if anything else, you're just fighting for attention, because everybody is stuck between screens, whether it's on their wall or in their hand. You really just need to have compelling content or compelling music to make sure that once upon a time you were fighting between, am I going to watch this show at 9:00 or this show at 9:00? Now you're fighting with Instagram. You're fighting with community. You're fighting with all these different things that at the blink of an eye can take your attention away. So it really just means as a creator, you have to step it up and make sure that, what you're doing is thought-provoking enough that people want to tune in more than they need to tune out.
And I think breaking through the clutter in this like attention economy, it's exactly that. It's like there's so much vying for your attention that I think authenticity always wins. And I think, that has so much to do with how you all have just broken through is people feel something when they listen to you, when they see you put things out, it's very thoughtful. If you had to go back, you guys are such a success story, right? And it kind of comes together. I know looking back, it all makes sense. But when you're going through it, it can be a hot mess. So do you have any advice for, young marketers or storytellers or even young business owners? What advice would you give yourself when you were first starting out?
Pay your taxes.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
For sure.
Sean, you good?
Oh no, I was gonna say, like, especially when there's a lot of times people try to hold on to two things at the same time and wait until it feels incredibly safe to make a decision. And I think one thing that we all did was make a decision that would either work or not work. And a lot of times when you try to hold on to two branches at the same time, you'll not go anywhere. You'll end up just pulling your arms apart. So I guess my advice is more or less to take that leap of faith, because the reality is, like, the only way you'll know if you can fly or not is if you hit the ground. So there's no point in just staying in a tree, like, wondering. That was kind of dark. But
I would say, to Sam's point, don't be scared to fail. All of our failures have brought us to this point. And to be honest, people don't even remember them. So it's like, I'm like, oh, y'all don't remember? Cool. All right, fine. So it's like, people really remember your wins, and ultimately people want to see you win. And I believe that anybody young that's coming up, do your research, study people, ask questions, try and seek out mentors and advisors. But on the flip side, I'm going to give them some advice because I learned this early on. And people who used to go as mentors and everything like that, nobody owes you anything. So I would say that when these people give you your time, really, really try and respect it. But also, you have to do the work on your own. You can't expect people to give you all the game and take out all their time to invest into you. Because most time, those people, that's not how they became successful. They had great people around them who advised them and gave them game, but ultimately it's on you to apply that for yourself. So I would say definitely research and also like learn Have some humility, lose the ego. I still my advisors, my mentors still can call me and cuss me out no matter what, because they keep me in check. Like, yo, why would you do this? And you need that no matter at what level, range, or age you're at, because you're not always right. And honestly, you don't always see what's coming towards you, what's coming up behind you. So you need those people around you all the time.
Oh, that's good advice. I mean, ego is the root of so much. Just like once you get ego out of the way, the ability to learn and grow and scale is just like limitless. I mean, looking towards the future, you all are, of course, experiences is a huge part of, who you are. I won't hold you to this, but what are you seeing for like the new wave and frontier of experiences and musical events? Like, are you all thinking of anything out of the box that you can share with us?
That we can share with you? No. Nah, but I mean,
you're like 5 years ahead.
nah, I think we've all seen. It's been interesting to, I guess, just even watch what the reaction to the live experience has become. We've all seen, like, started with like the Instagram lives, and that DJ gentleman, I can't think of his name right now. Like he set it off with like that like 12-hour DJ set that just had everybody in there from Michelle Obama to DJ Nice, and then there was a lot of performances from homes, different brands activated or partnering with different artists, and it grew to a more curated platform where they'll have it'll be not in the comforts of their home, but it'll be like in a real nice stage. And we've seen the award shows do their renditions of a pandemic award show. So, I mean, I think with the way technology is growing, or the amount of technology that we have, is really just nobody has yet. I don't think anybody yet has really attacked what the fan experience means to wait in line, to have to wait for merch, to have a meet and greet with an artist. Like, I think once we figure out how to really attack like the human nature of people, not just the audio and visual aspect of it, we'll really start to hit something. But hopefully my answer is going to be that we don't have to change too much, because this pandemic will go away sooner or later. We can go back outside and go back to Coachella.
From your mouth to the heavens' ears. I love that. I love that. No, guys, this was really incredible. Thank you to Tunde and Sean for joining us today. And special shout out to Google's Black and Latinx marketers for partnering with us to produce these incredible conversations.
I hope you learned something from the incredibly nimble and creative LVRN team. We have a couple more sessions this week. Check out the description on this page to make sure you're signed up for those future sessions.